Everybody get your phones out and share the shit out of this. And we are going to go live right now. And we're going to play a tune for you called Butterfly Lullaby by He Said, She Said.
Lullaby, help me sleep, help me forget or let me dream. Either or will do, either or will do, find my lullaby. Butterfly, spread your wings, fly away or simply stay. Either or will do, either or will do, find my butterfly. Remember when you walked away from me? Remember the things you had said. You said that you can't be there for me, but said that you'd never forget. So sing me a lullaby, soft and sweet, or whisper in my ear like a summer breeze. Either or will do, either or will do, find my butterfly. Remember when you first came to me? Remember all the things you would say. The apple didn't fall far from the tree, but it landed a certain way. Butterfly, lullaby, butterfly, lullaby. Either or will do, either or will do, fine. Either or will do, find my butterfly.
Well, there
Smile,
you
kid.
have it. Butterfly Lullaby. What's going on, guys?
Hey,
What's going on?
how goes it?
We got Shane on here with us tonight. We got Stew Meat from Wisconsin. And the chili dogs are somewhere in the background, or maybe they're,
I am working on a new song, by the way.
Are you Stew Meat and the chili dogs are doing a new
Yeah.
tune?
Got one, tracking one right now.
Oh, that's cool, man. That is cool. So tonight we're going to take a little bit of a dive into the world of indie music, and then we're going to spend some time with Shane. But Shane, you're going to be on here and give us a little bit of commentary on some of this, and you share your thoughts with us about some of this.
Okay.
Yeah. And so let me just find this here. Bob, you made a comment on your Facebook page a while ago.
There it is. Told you.
About Warner Music. You want to talk to us about that one a little bit? Warner Music Group announces a $77.2 million quarterly dividend after shares hit a 52-week low. What's that all about? Tell us about that.
52-week low. Well, in the
Bad.
same tweet, I posted another headline that was posted the very same day that Warner Music was in a bidding war for, I think it was Pink Floyd's catalog, and the price was up to $500 million. And I just thought that's just the way.
There it is, right there.
That's just the way this industry works. It doesn't make any sense. They say they're losing money, but then they turn around and well, we can drop 500 million. Same thing with Spotify. Spotify says we can only pay artists as much per stream, but then they turn around and billions of dollars on the company. So
yeah.
I don't understand it.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, I'm sure these big corporations have some sort of budget aside for buying music, right?
Yeah.
But when you're talking those kind of numbers, and then you're talking about your shares, like your shareholders are suffering, and you're going to bid, like, come on,
Right?
like I said, I'm sure they've got some sort of budget, but 500, come on,
It's a scam. It's a scam.
absolutely, it is.
Those are big
Absolutely,
numbers.
man.
Those are very big numbers. It's amazing how much money Spotify can burn through money. Like, well, they offer Joe Rogan $100 million a year, but they're only going to pay you like 0.0001.
Yeah. Now, I mean, I think we all deserve a piece of something, right? Joe Rogan included, and I'm sure he works hard for his podcast with the editing and everything else he's got to do, right? But we all do. We all do. The difference is this, though, especially after that big scandal with him, it took the opposite effect. He probably has more listeners now than he did before because of it.
Yeah.
Any publicity is good publicity, they say, right? So now he was already a celebrity. Now he's worth even more. So we're going to keep you by giving you this kind of money. Mm-hmm. Once again, it's a scam. Like, it's only the I mean, not to sound super negative or anything, but it seems like only the ones that have made it continue to make it.
Right. The very, very top tier
are
the ones making the money, and they don't need the money.
They don't need it. It's pocket change to them. The money they get from Spotify is literally pocket change to them. Where you've got artists at this, we're striving for it to be our livelihood, and it's not just because of the money aspect of it. We love to do it, but we also, we work hard at it, and I think that all artists should get some sort of compensation, whether they stream or purchase it.
Well,
yeah, it's a rip-off industry, no doubt about it.
Yeah, the world of music has changed so much, man.
It has since streaming started. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like, I mean, like we were talking about it just before we went on, and it's one of those things where if you can listen to music for free, my hat's all weird. If you can listen to music for free, then why not? Right? Yeah. That's the way people think. It's like, oh, I only have to pay like $10 a month to get unlimited music. Sure.
Well, get this though. Get this. This is one thing I don't understand about independent musicians or musicians on general. Downloadable music, streaming music came into play, and people could get it for free. And all of a sudden, artists started saying, "Well, I'll give away our music, and hopefully we can make it up when we play live and sell merchandise." Like,
right?
Their whole give away your music.
It goes back to the whole like meme about playing for exposure, right?
Yeah.
We want to get paid for our services. Well, why should we worry about exposure?
I wonder what button can he hit?
I don't know what he hit. I wonder if it'll be a hit. Oh, there he is. Welcome back, Ken. Welcome to the show.
That was so fucking stupid. I hit
Welcome to the show.
I hit one button here, and
I thought Spotify shut us down there for a minute because we're talking smack.
The world just blew up, and we're screwed now. Like,
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
went off.
We're talking about Spotify though, and like playing for exposure. Well, we don't want to play for free. But that's what the streaming really is. It's all about the artist wanting exposure. We need to have someone hear our song. That's put on Spotify.
Here's a good one. Let's switch gears here for a little bit.
No.
Bob said this one too. This is Stu Meat said this one last week, and we're going to use Stu Meat says. Stu Meat said submissions for airplay, censor or not to censor. What do you say to that one?
Well, I think it comes down to your listening audience too, right? Like if you've got a mainstream FM station on, right, and you're driving your kids to school, right? It makes sense to have things censored in those respects. But when it comes to indie, like when I think indie, I think, you know, rebellious in a sense, right? Do what I want to do. No one's really holding me back to do what I want to do. So I think that's really up to the station themselves. Some artists refuse to have censored because the song.
I mean, if you look at you know, different genres of music, you can hear the word, you know, the fuck word several times.
Oh yeah.
Over and over again.
Yeah.
Depending on the genre, right?
Yeah.
Well,
it's weird. I noticed that some mainstream stations will edit and some don't.
Yeah.
Or they'll edit differently.
What do you say, Bob?
Down here in the States, the FCC will fine you if you're caught letting that stuff slip through. But
right.
As far as streaming stations, internet stations, no, you're not governed by anybody.
Which is funny because I mean, you hear worse stuff on Netflix. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you go to the movies. You know,
Facebook. Like any kid with a phone has heard a lot of swear words just by scrolling, man.
Right.
Like it's everywhere.
I have
so I mean, to have it in I mean, I guess it depends. Like if it gets really crazy, you might want to censor it. But I mean, that's But the odd F-bomb here and there, that's the way that person is expressing themselves. Just like in conversation, when you're angry about something, you say the F word. Like it just happens.
And people are desensitized by it by now.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's like a shock.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I heard my son drop the F-bomb. And I
was it like in a Christmas Story, the movie Christmas Story?
Yeah. He was like about about 7 or 8 years old.
Okay.
And something happened to him that was really frustrating, and he dropped the F-bomb, right? And he thought that I was really gonna, get after him for using the F-bomb. And I said to him, I said, Jack, I said, sometimes when something happens that's really bad, that's the best.
It's the best way of your frustration, man.
It's the best.
I got a funny story. I got a funny story about the F-bomb, or that word. So I remember this in grade 5, and I'll never forget this. I even remember my teacher because of this. During recess, she was on recess duty, our grade 5 teacher, and she heard us say the F-bomb quite a bit at recess. Not me in particular, just a lot of people. So we come back in from recess. She's already in the classroom, and on the chalkboard, in great big block letters, F-U-C-K. And we're like, what the hell? We sit down. No one knows what to say. She comes over and she's like, I've heard this word a lot in the recess or in recess. She goes, you guys don't even know what it means. It stands for unlawful carnal knowledge. And she goes, if you're going to use the word, use it in the right context. Then erased it. And I'm like, what? Grade 5. And I'm like, I learned what the word really means. So, and I still use it to this day.
Oh, what a great teacher.
Oh, awesome teacher. Awesome teacher, man. My hat's all weird.
It's hard to see it in the phone.
There you can look up my nose now.
There you go. That's better.
Yeah.
And then there's a whole new genre of music. What do you think about this one? Somebody posted this, and I know he's gonna laugh because he's the one that posted.
Who, me?
No, it was Bob.
What the? Near death metal.
Yeah, near death metal. Have you heard of that? That genre.
That has so many. That's like so many run-on words, and with that picture, it's awesome.
But look at the age of the guitar player. So I guess
I know that's what I mean. Near death metal.
That's
Genius.
actually on my that's on my other website.
That's actually kind of genius, really.
That's what I love this guy. He's got such a wicked sense of humor, and I got to share it with people once in a while because I totally get it. I don't know if everybody gets it, but I do. I like.
I think I got it right away, man. I thought that was perfect.
Yeah, it makes me
Genius.
laugh. Bob, you had an article posted. I'm looking at for it on your because you always post some really interesting stuff, and you had posted something there. Remember we talked about that woman that she manages a large portfolio of mainstream music, and it's a $60 billion portfolio.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, and this is why I'm saying, like, when they announce these losses, but they are managing $60 billion portfolios of mainstream music. How does that work?
Well, the whole point of her article was she noticed how much missing royalties go unnoticed, and she said the industry has to change because too much money is being filtered through and not being accounted for. And once again,
they
it's
launder your money.
Yeah. And that's what she was concerned about. She thought the industry had to change.
Absolutely, it does.
Well, the thing is, though, if she's managing a $60 billion portfolio, isn't she part of the problem?
No, not necessarily. I mean,
okay.
She got to the point where she is because she was a little bit more ethical in her methods and stuff like that, and that's why she noticed this stuff happening.
Sorry, I missed his. Who is it that we're talking about?
I don't know.
Like
I would have to
the one handling the portfolio.
It was a woman that manages portfolio. She's Where's she
from? Like, what is she from? She's from a record label then?
She works for record labels and she does promotion of their of music, but the portfolio that she's managed is like a $60 billion portfolio.
That's crazy. But who's in the portfolio then? Like, who's?
I don't know. It didn't. I don't think the article went into who was actually in her portfolio.
Oh, okay.
But what I'm saying is they're talking about, for example, the whole idea of the dude that owns Spotify, for example. He makes billions of dollars a year, and artists are making 1/16 of a cent per stream.
Yeah, I know. It's unjustified.
Yeah, I don't want to come off as whining about it, but
I don't understand why indie artists even use it, because it's really not worth the time. Because whenever I promote any of my stuff, I usually don't say Spotify.
Right.
I'll say Indie Tunes. I will say Apple Music, what have you, right? Spotify, I mean, we've got our stuff on there, but it's really just like playing for free.
Well, if I was having to say anything Spotify, I'd be like this guy right here, just like this guy.
Yeah, get off my lawn. Don't make me shake my fist at you.
Get off my lawn, you bastards! I love that one.
Wasn't the Simpsons where Grandpa Simpson, they had a picture of him in the newspaper? It says old man shakes his fist at clouds. There's clouds above him.
Oh,
awesome.
My God.
That's you. That's your Grandpa Simpson.
So we keep talking about indie music, and I love to bring this stuff up because this is some cool stuff. So this is like stuff that's going on in Canada right now, but we know there are a whole lot more indie artists than this. But this is an example of how sort of I think the mainstream interprets indie music. And I really think sometimes they get this really wrong, but here's an example of all this. So you got these bands, Mother, the Inside Tour, they're at Massey Hall, L. Stewart, Lucius, and on it goes down. But a lot of these I don't recognize as being specifically all indie, right?
Is Mother indie? I didn't realize that.
Well, that's what, again, indie music this week was the search that I used.
Right.
And this is what popped up. right? And then it goes into, you know, describes all the stuff that's going on. So, you know, when you look at festivals here, Alanis Morissette with Garbage, the Beaches.
Yeah, that's the Hawk Rocks the Park.
Yeah.
That's Hawk Rocks the Park. Or I guess it's just called Rocks the Park now. The Hawk doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, Hawk doesn't exist. That's right.
Or does Rock, apparently.
They're done. Yeah, Rock. Well, you know
Rock
what?
the Park, but yet we've got rap stars and country stars. Just like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Change the name.
Change it.
To Music Hall of Fame.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Because that's what it is. It's all genres of music are getting inducted, and you know, and most of them should, but not to rock and roll. It's a different genre.
Yeah,
no,
totally
that term,
you know, it's like the Everly Brothers being inducted into the Metal Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, not right.
That term
it's
has
not
been
right.
watered down so much. Like,
oh yeah, like Dolly Parton's being inducted.
You know,
Dolly Parton deserves many awards.
Yeah,
for her contribution.
But
she's not rock and roll, man.
She requested that she be pulled from the induction, and they refused her request. They refused to refuse her.
They refused to refuse her. Fuck it.
Yeah, she requested that you know, they withdraw her name from the nominees, and they flat out told her, no, we're not going to do that. And you know, that takes a lot of balls.
Yeah, it does. It does.
But you know who the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is run by? It's run by the CEO of Rolling Stone magazine.
See, that makes sense.
Yeah, see, now
that makes sense. I mean, because they cover Rolling Stone magazine covers all genres of music.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy what they classify as being indie music. That's always been my my beef, is that, you know.
Well, what is indie
no slam
music?
against used to meet, you know.
But but like I said before, like, I mean, the title indie is so vague and open. Like, it's a huge spectrum, because indie music could be country, could be rap, could be rock, could be jazz, could be whatever, because it's independent. So people don't normally look into indie music because they don't know what they're going to get. They don't, you know, it's a crapshoot,
man,
for a lot of listeners, because they don't know where to start. They don't know where to specific. Okay, I really like metal, but I want to get into some new stuff. Where do I go to find specifically, you know? Or
yeah, I think what
so when you say indie, it's like
the independent music industry, if there is one, they have to get together and say, you know, they got to make people aware there are different categories. There's different genres of independent music, so people aren't so weirded out about it. It's a Wild West show out there, and I don't know, you know, what to get involved with.
Yeah,
I cannot find that article to save my life.
No, we shared it last week. It's on last week's show if anybody wants to reference it. And I think I'll pull it up next week, and we'll bring it back up for discussion again, because it was an interesting topic. But the to me, sort of some of the takeaways are the fact that there is so much music being published right now. You know,
too much.
Yeah, there's just like 20,000 songs a week, or sorry, 60,000 songs a week are getting published on Spotify. 60,000 songs a week.
Yeah.
Right. So you guys, your new song, Butterfly Lullaby, drops on Friday.
Yeah.
And Saturday, there's going to be another 60,000 songs published on top of it.
I know. It's really, it is just, put on Spotify and let's see what happens. You know?
Yeah.
But but I mean, at the same time, that's where what it comes down to. If you're proud of your product, get it out there as much as you can and share it with your friends and family, fans, and get them to share it. Get the word out. There's so much behind the scenes stuff bands do, independent bands do, to get their product out there and to advertise it, that people, it's a full-time job to be in a band. And
here's
like,
cool
honest to God, I have no life. Like, I work my regular job, and when I'm home, I'm either writing or recording or promoting. That's all I do.
Really?
Eat, sleep,
Yeah,
drink
honest to
music.
God. Honest to God. And it's tough, man. And like all this week, every minute I had, for the most part, I worked on the Coach for Sarah video, the new video I'm working on. So we do a lot of stuff to keep up with the masses and so people don't lose interest, right? Because once you go dormant for a little while, forget it. Like Coach for Sarah, we haven't played a live show since like early 2020, just before COVID. And during that time, we lost our backbeat. So Lars and we're just recording, right? We're not playing any live shows.
You guys are producing music, though.
Oh yeah, as I said, like we're recording and we're producing music for sure. Like we have a new one that Lars is working on right now, but I'm just saying it's hard to keep up with the masses and keep up with what everyone's talking about and things like that, and keep a buzz going of any kind, right? Yeah, people know that you're alive. Because if you don't, people forget real quick.
Yeah, any kind of traction you gain, if you don't capitalize on that, you have to start all over again.
Anything that you can keep, you gotta keep the momentum up, and that, like I said, in itself is a full-time job for any indie band.
Here's something that I stumbled across. This this is Bob and I always have a point in the show where we do like these shameless plugs.
Okay.
So I stumbled across this really cool website. It's called Indie Tunes Records.
Oh yeah, that was a pretty cool website.
And they call themselves the home of indie music. And the reason they call themselves the home of indie music is because every artist that they work with is an independent artist.
Yeah.
Right. Not very signed to any major record. And actually some of them either had deals with major labels before, or actually did work with major labels and then left those major labels because they got screwed.
Yeah.
Right.
It's funny how often and common the sentence, like those words are used in the same sentence. Major record label, screwed.
Yes. Yeah. It's kind of like bend me over.
Like there's this one band run by a guy named Butch Walker who became a big producer. Like he did Avril Lavigne stuff. And it was a band called Marvelous 3. And they had great songs, man. Like I have all their 3 albums. They're awesome. They're signed by Atlantic, and they didn't sell a lot. They signed a contract. They didn't sell a lot. So because they weren't selling a lot, the label didn't drop them because they're on a contract. They just didn't pay attention to them. They didn't help distribute. They didn't help promote. They did nothing. It was just stuck there, left dormant. But they were in a contract. They couldn't leave and go anywhere else. And that's what they'll do. If you're not the seller, once again, going back to the big wigs continue to make big, right? Because it's all a money machine.
Yeah, and they claim they're not making any money.
Yeah, yeah.
We can't.
Okay, there, Warner. I warned you.
Read up on the Goo Goo Dolls and what they went through.
Oh, I heard. I don't know too many details. Like I read it a while ago, but yeah. Same thing. And it's one of those things. Where are they now?
Yeah.
Here's an interesting thing. I'm going to send this out to you guys at some point if you want to read it. It's an old article. It was in the Digital Music News, and this goes way back to when I first looked at forming the record label, which was probably going to, and we talked about this earlier, probably end up becoming a music consortium down the road or an indie music community. I'm not exactly sure where it's going, but it's certainly got the makings for that because we're uploading new artists every week, right? And you guys are doing really good with producing music this year. Like you guys have had some new releases out.
Yeah.
And a lot of people got really busy during COVID if they had access to recording equipment and did
honestly, like
recording.
COVID, believe it or not, musically speaking, COVID was my saving grace.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's kind of that's just after Jess and I met and started talking about music. But because COVID happened, it allowed me the time to really like write, right? And really think about the songs rather than just trying to put something out. And it gave me the time to record and perfect things, get better at guitar, get better at singing, like all these different things that I did not take that time off for granted. Like I worked hard on that time off, and I think a lot of musicians probably did too. But I'm very fortunate in that sense too, that I don't have a full band, right? So I didn't have to worry about interaction or anything like that either.
Yeah, so you were talking a little bit about, we are talking about, you know, how major record labels can really screw things up for people, and you know, COVID was again, I think, a bit of a telling point for Hillick when they came on board with me as well, because they weren't touring during COVID, and they were, you know, pretty busy touring. You know, those guys, you know, they toured with Motley Crue and
oh yeah. Listen, I took vocal lessons from Brian Balmer.
Yeah.
And I saw he had this one wall up called the Wall of Shame, and it had all these photos, real photos of bands. Like there's a picture of him hanging out with Ozzy Osbourne. Like how cool is that? And then the greatest picture I think I saw ever was his wife Linda. Now I could be wrong with the story. This is from what I remember is years ago he told me the story. Linda worked at the original Hard Rock Cafe in England.
Yep, that's right.
And a lot of times back then, celebrities or musician celebrities would go to Hard Rock Cafe to eat or whatever. So this one particular group got to know Linda pretty well. And this one night they were playing in London, and they didn't want to go back to their hotel because of all the fans. They went to Linda's place. And there's a picture of these two hanging out on her couch in her living room or in her apartment, playing guitar. And it was David Lee Roth and Eddie Van Halen.
No doubt.
Cool. He must have been like 21. He's probably 21, 22, Eddie.
Yeah,
like,
no doubt.
Coolest photo ever, man. Just them in the moment, right? Of hanging out. I loved it. I love that wall.
So again, like going back to that whole thing, COVID was a bit of a savior for a lot of people because it got them, you know, off the road. They weren't touring, and they're like, oh, well, what am I going to do? I'm making music, right? And a lot of people started recording, especially if they had access to recording equipment. You did have access to recording equipment. A lot of people with home studios. One artist I work with from BC, I encouraged him way back before all this happened to get himself a nice interface and start recording all of his tracks.
See, when I started this though, like I knew nothing, like, and there's still so much for me to learn. So I was like, how do I do it? I've got a half decent computer. You know what I mean? I've got these songs. So thank God for Ryan Spong once again, because this is what he does too, right? Like he's a musician since I've known the kid. So he helped me out. He told me I've got to get an interface, what kind I should get, because of his reasons. And then he helped me hook up with Fruity Loops. And I was just like, man, so many times I would ask him a question on Messenger or whatever. Hey man, like blah, blah. Next thing you know, FaceTime me. Okay, let's go through it. And we'd be on there until we got it. He was awesome. He helped me out.
You guys are the reason that I don't produce music for other artists other than my own projects.
Right. Why is that?
Because you guys are, you know, in some ways are light years ahead of me when it comes to production. You guys were doing this long before I started doing it. And you guys have learned a lot of stuff. It's a steep learning curve to produce your own music.
That's just it. Honestly, like I've got what I need to do down pretty packed for Fruity Loops and stuff, but I mean, there's so much more I could do. So I want to explore it. But when it comes to mixing and mastering, I have no clue. Like, I don't know how to EQ stuff. I'm like a plug in and play sort of guy, and get a good quality song down and send it off and let Lars do it. Because Lars started working on doing his own mixing and mastering on our second album, our EP. And it was a learning curve for him. Like, he had to learn so much, and he watched YouTube videos and read books on it and forums and stuff like that. And he's gotten really good at it. So it's been about look at the clock. It's been about an hour. It's been about 3 or 4 years, and he's been doing it. And I mean, he'll only get better, right? And it sounded really good. Like, he does all Coach Mercer stuff and the He Said, She Said stuff. So can't beat it.
Yeah.
I'd have to say 50% of the submissions I get now in their bio or whatever, they all say they took advantage of the COVID lockdowns and recorded and honed their skills. So I think it was kind of a blessing in disguise for a lot of musicians.
Yeah, it was, because I mean, you know, for the the other artists out there, especially the indie artists that depended, like that's their job, right? Is to tour and play shows. That was hard. That was hard for them. I can only imagine, right? It'd be being like laid off and not getting any compensation from the government. That's tough. But other artists though did definitely, like myself included, like man, took advantage of that. I wasn't touring or anything. I'm like, this is the time to write and write good songs and work on my craft and things like that. So work on connections too. Like I made so many connections through Facebook and stuff. With He Said, She Said. We put a cover out every Monday, and people like that's really helped us with a following because of those covers. People almost expect it on Mondays. Like, well, it's kind of fun. We'll be out, you know, just having a band meeting out for lunch or whatever, and the waitress will come up and go, "Oh, it's He Said, She Said." I'm like, "Oh, that's cool."
Nice.
Right?
Nice.
So I mean, but it's helped us connect to people big time, having that time off and being able to get together and do videos like that.
I think that one time you and Jess should reverse dress.
We did.
Oh, did you?
We did. So we played a show at Jasmine's in Owen Sound for Halloween.
Okay.
Did I show you the pictures?
No, you dressed in drag?
Oh, dude, we changed roles. She dressed like me and I dressed like her. We even had fake hair and gave her a beard. Right?
Okay, that's funny. That's
like
funny.
she wore my toque. Wore this chain, my earrings, my bracelets, and then I wore one of her dresses. I wore her jewelry, her necklace. I shaved my beard.
Wow,
did my makeup like hers. Wore glasses like her, and I even had this wig with ponytails.
Do you have it posted anywhere on Facebook? I can find.
Oh
it.
yeah, it might be on our Facebook page.
Who on He Said, She Said?
Yep, I'm pretty sure it is. But like it's kind of uncanny. Like more her than me. She looks like me. Like, did you see it? Do you see it?
I'm looking to see if I can.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like it's kind of crazy. I would show people the picture and they'd be like, they do a double take.
Did anybody catch on?
Oh yeah. Like it doesn't take long to know that the guy's the girl's a dude.
Yeah.
But I'm making this really. Oh, that's me getting ready. That's me getting ready there. That's me getting ready with the makeup on. That's Jess with the bald cap on.
Wait a minute, that's Jess?
That's Jess with the bald cap.
Holy crap, man!
There we are.
Wow, you guys really.
Isn't that awesome?
Into that.
Oh my God, you're looking a bit like Jess there too, buddy.
I know, and she looks like me. It's crazy. Oh, that's an app. That was a gig at Chuck's Roadhouse. But isn't that awesome?
So that's the way you guys dressed for the night you guys played.
We played that night like that.
That's so cool.
And we introduced ourselves. She introduced herself as Shane, and I said Jess, and she did a really low voice, and I did a high voice.
Oh, that's cool.
It was fun. It was a fun gig.
That would have been a lot of fun. Yeah, for sure, man. That's cool.
Yeah.
You were talking earlier, Shane, and we're talking about, you know, the music industry, how, you know, the music industry kind of screws people over, and way back in the day when I was looking for a model to a business model to look at, you know, how I'd run the record label,
right?
I started looking at, you know, contracts and all this other stuff and standard contract language. I couldn't believe it. Like the stuff that they were asking artists to give up to join their label, you know, was ridiculous. And
I know.
And I
you
thought,
sell your soul, man.
Yeah, I can't ask people to give up their creative rights to their music, or even give up their rights to their music for that matter. Right. But here's an interesting article that I stumbled upon when I was doing the research for those, and this article is it's around, it was written in 2015. So it's about 7 years old. But back in 2006, when YouTube was really just starting to get going for music. Right. There was a young lady by the name of Tara Naomi. You ever heard of her?
She became like very rich on YouTube.
Right. She was like a YouTube sensation. In fact, she was #1 most subscribed musician on YouTube in 2006. Puff Daddy was 2.
Yeah.
So that tells you how good it was. But it's interesting. It says how signing a major record deal nearly destroyed my career.
Yeah, I remember you and I talking about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it took the rights to her music and they forgot about her.
Yeah.
Right? She got lost in the dust. And that's what they do. They're like, we're not, it's one of those factors of like, if we can't have you, no one can.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're going to buy you out or buy you, and then you're never going to see the light of day again. All your fans are going to be with us rather than you.
And you can't.
She lost all that shit
anymore. You can't put your stuff on YouTube anymore because you belong to the record label.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
Stop from doing that.
So back
Satan,
when she was
Satan runs record labels.
So back before she was on a label, she wrote an EP called Virtually. Okay. And she enlisted the help of a friend, and together they shipped 5,000 CDs in 1 month.
Wow.
And she wasn't even on a label.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And of course, as soon as she did that, the music industry took attention and noticed her right away. And all of a sudden she got all kinds of offers, right? And here's the interesting thing. Universal Publishing signed her. Right? But anyway, long story short, they hired her. They brought her on board on the label. She produced an album and they shelved it. And they never published any of her music.
Wow.
Right? And literally screwed her over and wanted money out of her for all the advances and all the other bullshit that went along with the album, right? And
a record label will never sign you unless you already have a buzz and a following, because all they will care about is we need to elevate that. We have the sales already in our pocket. Now we're going to elevate it, and then if it doesn't sell, screw you.
Yeah.
That way they're not losing anything. They know they're going to make this much money because there's so many people are following you and they'll buy your album. Guaranteed with that. If it doesn't sell any more than that, bye.
That's all on her. That's all on her, though.
And,
you know.
And here's
it is and it isn't, because I mean, when YouTube was just starting out, right? Who knew really that it was going to be that big, right? Who knew? And she saw that, but it was also right around that time where signing with a record label, that's a big freaking deal.
Yeah, it is.
It messes with your mind because you're like, oh my God, like I've made it. Let's sign. Yeah. So, I mean, it is partially her fault for being naive, but I mean, I think a lot of people would have been. At that time in life, like 2006, that time, people would be naive. People would be like, holy shit, Universal Records is going to sign me. This is crazy.
You just got to seek the right legal representation.
That's just it. You have to spend the money or have a budget for a lawyer if you're going to go that route. And pay the expensive lawyer, because if that lawyer would have read it over and he was a good lawyer, he would have told her, don't do it.
Yeah.
Right. And she would have saved so much money and time.
Yep. That's know.
But she's a prime example that it can be done. But she also came out at the perfect time. With music, timing is everything. No one knows how things are going to go. No one knows what the next big song is going to be. Even the artists themselves, right? We don't know what's going to take off next. We don't know what the next trend is going to be in music. Yeah. And she came out at the perfect time when YouTube was just starting out and it was a trend at the time, right? People had to look at YouTube.
She was the biggest YouTuber. In fact, if you go back and read other articles, she's one of the main reasons that YouTube started monetizing their videos.
Makes sense.
Before or after that? Was it Rebecca Black?
I think before she's one.
I think she was one of the first ones.
Yeah, she's like a pioneer. She was like the first. She was like the first YouTuber to get 1 million subscribers.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I got to read a little bit of the story because it's really, really interesting. So Island Records, which is a division of Universal.
Yep. YouTube signed with Island.
Gave her a contract, and it said, I arrived at Island Records for my first meeting with my new team, excitement overriding the sluggishness of jet lag, because this is in the UK. I was stepping into my ideal situation. Everything I'd ever hoped for as an artist. I was signed by the president of the label. So the president of the label signed her. It wasn't like one of their A&R guys.
Right.
And one of the last old school record deals in a rapidly changing world of 360 deals where the label takes a percentage of all revenue versus their percent being limited to album sales only, right? Now they take a percentage of everything, right?
Yep.
My team at the label was welcoming and enthusiastic. I was shiny new toy, a bridge between the flailing old old school music industry, and the new world of digital sales. So this is when digital sales started taking off, right?
Yep.
And they saw her as like a cash cow because of her commercial or her success on YouTube, right?
Right.
And in hindsight, she should have just kept doing that because she already had a winning formula. Whatever she was doing was working.
That's just it.
She's like that.
It's that stigma, right? It's that status quo, like just of saying I'm signed with a major label.
She's like
right?
that other
that gets
artist.
In your head.
What's the one that produced her album in her bedroom and her brother produced it for?
Oh, that was Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish, same deal.
I don't know who is she even with a record label, or she's with a record label, right?
I thought she got a contract, but I'm not positive. But
she would have to be with someone if she won Junos or won awards and stuff.
So she's on the cusp of all these streaming services and all this stuff, right? She's on the cusp of all this stuff. And, she said, I represented a business model where artists would take all the risk, build everything on their own, and then hand it over to the record label once it became profitable. So she already had a winning formula, hands it over to the record label. What company wouldn't be excited about that? I remember the moment I walked into my manager's office and he was somewhat gruff, but stylish English guy in his late 30s. He emphatically slammed his hands on the desk, nearly shouting with excitement, so tell us all about this YouTube. Right? So it was 2007. I knew about YouTube. All my friends knew about YouTube. I'd launched my career on YouTube, and all the people now in charge of my career knew nothing about YouTube. Right? So the record company...
So she actually introduced YouTube to them as well.
Yeah, they didn't even know about YouTube, and they'd just given her a contract to start writing music and recording music, right? And she said, I thought perhaps I could still reverse the mistake I'd made. Right then, she goes, in that moment, I knew I was doomed. That was one line. And then she says, wow. I thought perhaps I could still reverse the mistake I'd made. I played Say It's Possible at Live Earth in front of an audience of 80,000 people at Wembley Stadium. She was hoping for that, right?
That's insane, man.
Anyways, long story short, her album, she had no creative freedom on her album, and they completely changed everything. That was her winning formula when she was on YouTube.
Yeah. That's not right.
No, so they took it all the way from her. So here's the and then she talks about this later, right? The producer where I worked with had told me we only had one shot and I needed to make the album he wanted to make, not the one she wanted to make, but the one he wanted to make, with its radio-ready production. And once I had a few hits, I could make any album I wanted. So I made the album he wanted to make, and things didn't happen the way he said they would. Instead of the big commercial radio success that would give me the freedom to seamlessly transition into the music I truly wanted to make, I had a big commercial flop. Right? And then 2 years later, she's on a transatlantic flight, and the guy who signed her to the label was sitting next to her manager on this transatlantic flight. When my manager mentioned my name, my ex-champion's response was, well, we sure fucked that one up, didn't we? That was the only comeback the dude had for it. He ruined her career.
Wow.
And yeah. Serious. Like, I couldn't believe that. Like, anyway, it freaked me out when I saw that. I'm like, what the hell?
It's scary, man. Like, because why would someone who's he's probably not even a musician, just knows what he thinks he knows what sells. So write this for me.
Exactly.
Well, as a musician, it's like that stuff's got to come from the heart, man.
Tell me about this.
Why about that?
Is that one of your drawings?
No, I wish.
What is that?
That's well, it's a picture of Jess and I, obviously, but it's just a filter
That's cool.
I used. Yeah, it is pretty cool, eh?
There it is, right there.
That's another
Same
filter there. Yeah. Huh. We got
There you
some
go.
masks made.
That was the second. That's the second.
Yeah, that's the
release.
promo pic for our song. I don't know why that's up, but it's not Remembrance Day.
I was just looking at it. I'm just looking at. I'm on your band, your music profile.
Oh, there's a
here.
message from Jess there because I did. There's our Music Mondays.
Right. And you guys put out. Usually I do a cover every Monday and put it out on YouTube, right?
Yep. So we put it on Facebook and then we put it on YouTube as well. So the last one, Jess wasn't here, so I just did a song by myself. I did "Black" by Pearl Jam, and but she left a video message with it, which was kind of fun.
Where did Stu Meat go? Where is he?
Stu Meat,
you disappeared, buddy. Where are you?
Nice to meet you.
I can't. That's weird.
Where'd he go?
Like,
Maybe he turned off. Did he turn off his camera?
I don't think so. It's frozen. He's either really he's sitting really still or he's frozen, man.
I just see black.
See, that's why I say when I open it up, it's black, but he's I know he's there. It says he's there, but I don't know.
Well, we'll leave it like this until he joins us. I'm sure he'll be back.
Bobby Boy, you might have to come off and rejoin us again.
Bobby Boy.
You went silent. So you guys got a new single coming out this Friday called Butterfly Lullaby. Tell us a little bit about that one.
Yeah, so I am like very excited to release this one, honestly. It's probably the most I've most excited I've been, just because it's very unique in the sense of what I normally write. With this song, I had the idea in my head a while ago, just with the one word lullaby. So I wanted something kind of sweet and almost dreamy. And then when I first wrote it, I wrote with the sense that I'd be singing it. So I just wrote it in the normal tuning or no capo or anything. And then I thought I'd really like to hear Jess sing it. So when I had her do it, obviously it was too low the way I was singing it for her range. So brought the capo up to the 3rd fret, and that was still too low. So I think it's all the way up to the 6th fret now for her. So it's up there. But that's kind of the start of the process. And then lyrically speaking, I wanted to be, like I said, kind of a dreamy sort of feel to it. And with that one word lullaby in the head. And then it kind of transformed more into, when it comes into the choruses and stuff, I look at it and it really makes sense, especially with the word butterfly. It's kind of like the butterfly effect, lyrically speaking, the song. So no matter what choices you've made in life, good or bad, it leads you to where you are right now. Like us having this interview, right? The choices I've made has led to this moment, whether they're bad choices or good choices. And that's kind of how the butterfly effect works. So in the lyrics, it's kind of in that sense of don't worry about your decisions, good or bad, they'll take you to the right place or where you're supposed to be. And that's kind of the premise of that song.
Oh, I didn't want to play that. All I want to do is put that up there. Now it keeps playing it. Hang on a second. That's not what I wanted to do. I don't know why it did that, but I actually just wanted to share the screen is what I was after. There it is right there. So there's your cover.
Yeah.
Where and the idea of the butterfly is,
well, once again, it's like that butterfly effect, right? So no matter what choices you make in life, good or bad, it leads you to this moment in time. So lyrically speaking, that's kind of where it went. And then the lullaby, it's kind of like, like I said, I kind of want, hey, there he is.
Stu Meat is back. What's
nice
happened, Stu? Stewie, what's going on there, buddy?
Stewie. Oh, we can't hear you.
Oh my God.
No, can't hear you.
you're a 10 out of 10 out of 10 connection, but I got nothing on your audio now. That's weird.
No
man.
audio.
Get your whiteboard out.
He can hear us. He's smiling. He can hear us.
I know he can hear me, but he's got no audio right now. So so Butterfly Lullaby comes out this week on Friday.
Yeah,
and,
super excited because it's like a lot of instrumentation in this one too, and just a really cool moody song. Yeah, it's kind of dreamy and eerie in parts, and I really dig it. I put a lot of work into this one. I think I'm proud of this one. I'm proud of all of them, but this one I'm particularly proud of. And Jess does a great job singing too.
And it's got some cool instrumentation on it. You got some strings and stuff like that going on.
Yeah, so I have some cello and some violins playing some different parts in it too. So they're all playing kind of different parts in the bridge, and it really made it more a majestic song. It's funny, when I first wrote this song, in my head was kind of more of a 1950s sort of ballad, like with shoo-wops and stuff in the background, and and snapping fingers and stuff like that, kind of picturing like the background singers singing along to it and stuff. That's what I had in my mind. But then once we started working on it, other things kind of came to it, and I wanted it to be kind of more of a dreamy sort of song and majestic at the build up. So and then Jess added vocals over the bridge, which made it really eerie and cool, and and very dreamy like. So that's kind of where it went.
So it's interesting because like I call you guys sort of a power pop duo.
Yeah.
And your first tune, Time Well Spent, I love it because it's got a country flavor to it.
Yeah, it's kind of like a country rock, I guess.
And the interesting thing is, so we'll look at the times on these. So the first one is 3 minutes and 43 seconds. The second one, interlude, is where is it? Hang on a second here. 2 minutes and 36 seconds.
Yep.
And then we got this one that's actually Bob, you'd love this one. Perfect radio length, 3 minutes and 20 seconds.
There you go.
That's cool. That is really cool. People can buy that right off our website right now at indietunes.com at He Said, She Said Music. You guys have your own music store on our website now.
I know, it's exciting.
I know we want to like put Spotify and all those other bullshit companies out of business and put the money in the hands of artists where it belongs.
Exactly.
So that's our goal. Hopefully it happens. I want to see it happen in my lifetime.
That'd be nice.
I'm touching myself. Oh man.
Of course you are. Why wouldn't you?
You break me.
No one sees below the belt in these shows.
Try your audio again. I just turned it on and off again.
No.
Ball sack. I can read your lips though. You said ball sack, didn't you? Yeah.
Ball sacks.
Ball sack.
Yeah.
Oh man. So so people can buy Butterfly Lullaby right off our website now.
Before it even drops on Friday, you can get it right now.
Yeah, it's going to hit all the major streaming and download platforms on Friday as well. I just got some notifications today. I'm going to send you out some links tonight. Because I just got notifications today. And one of the things that we're looking at doing, in fact, when I'm going to be publishing Helix's whole catalog on our website.
Very cool.
About 180 songs. And we are not publishing one of those songs on any download and streaming platforms. It's all going to be on our website.
Nice. Very cool.
It's the only place you'll be able to buy it. And I'm hoping that artists are going to want to move more exclusively to that process and move people over this way. You can go to our website right now and you can listen to Butterfly Lullaby in its entirety. So not like you do when you go to Spotify or iTunes where you only get to listen to a 30 or 60 seconds clip.
Exactly.
You can listen to the whole song and then make a decision about whether you want, and you get the artwork with the song when you download it, interestingly enough.
That's cool. And remember too, like listening to it's great. Like we all want the exposure, but to allow us to continue to write music that you like, we appreciate the download. And then you get to keep it. You don't have to keep going onto the site to listen to it, right?
A buck a song, dude.
Right. Less than a copy, and you get to keep it.
It's $1 a song,
and it supports us. It supports Indie Tunes Records. Like it helps local musicians, local businesses. Like it's a huge. It's worth the money.
Bob says he's frozen stew meat. Oh my god, frozen.
He's now
meat.
Frozen stew meat.
Oh my god. Now, I had a buddy of mine who used to say, "What's your beef jerky?"
What's your beef jerky?
Yeah, what's your beef jerky? So Butterfly Lullaby is a duet by you and Jess. I'm not particular when Jess is doing all the singing. You're doing backups and harmonies, right?
Yeah, so I'm doing I do like a lower backup on the choruses, and then she also does harmony with herself on some parts too, and the choruses. So
the interesting
like a three-way harmony thing going on.
The interesting thing about that song is, like you said, I think if you guys do a video for that one, you need to get Jess in like some sort of flapper gear.
Flapper gear.
Yeah, you know, like the flappers from the 20 nut, like from.
Oh yeah, definitely. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, and get her to do get her to sing in the video where she's got the old fashioned microphone, and you got like a the old band in the background behind her. I think it would be like in a smoky room. I got a couple of smoke machines you can borrow.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know, and you could have like some people sitting there with cigarettes, you know, in those long holders.
Long ones. Cigarettes.
Yeah. And have her singing the song in like a speakeasy or something like that. That might be cool.
Mm-hmm.
I could also see you doing an animated video of this, that because it is a very kid friendly song, it could be a nice song for someone to play for their child at night.
Well, it's funny you say that. Honest to God, that's a great segue to the story. When we first had the demo out, all that we had was just one acoustic guitar, Jess's vocals, and a bass line. No drums, no anything. And we sent this demo to some of our friends. And this one particular couple, they're a couple and they have a newborn baby. She falls asleep to it every night, this demo.
Very cool.
And it's so cool that they use that to calm their baby down and go to sleep.
You've got some really cool, that animation that you used with the butterflies is really cool.
Yeah.
You know, and I could see, you know, a video for a child's theme being done for that song as well.
Right. A lot of different opportunities for that song. That's what I like about it. And it's funny you mentioned the animation part, is because with I'm going back to our first two songs, and we're going to start doing videos for those. And the one in particular, Interlude, our second release, I'm looking at doing that as I'm doing it myself. So I'm going to see how it goes, but I'm going to do an animated video for that. Because I've got the whole concept in my head. I just got to put it on paper. And what we're going to do too is that we've been releasing things as singles. We have Time Well Spent, then Interlude, and our third one, Butterfly Lullaby. We have two more that are pretty much done, other than some touch-ups and mixing and mastering. And I think when those two are done, we're actually going to release a 5-song EP. And it's going to be called Butterfly Lullaby, because that's really the song that kind of started my and Jess's journey. And there's going to be those 5 songs on the EP, and probably like another track or something like that.
There's you and your writing partner right there.
Yep, right there. There we are.
Check.
Jess Massey Bedard, and Jess actually has some experience singing. Hey, you're there, buddy.
Back.
Stu Meat, you're back.
Does it work?
Yep, I hear you.
I can hear you. You can turn your volume up just a little bit.
What?
Yeah, you can turn your mic up just a little bit.
Fuck that.
Okay. So this is Shane and Jess. I don't know what you guys are doing there. are you guys doing a recording? It looks like you're doing a YouTube recording there.
Yeah, we were working on another video, and she just snapped the shot, and I thought it was a really cool shot. It kind of captured a moment there. So I think I'm going to use that with that filter that you saw, or maybe not, I don't know, but that's going to be the back of our CD, our EP.
Is that an ovation?
Yeah, both of them are actually. The one I'm playing and the one in the back are both ovations.
Wow,
the one in the back, I hand painted that to look like Coach Versailles' first album cover.
Cool.
Because every Coach Versailles song ever written's on that guitar, because that was actually Larry's guitar. He gave it to me to write songs, so I didn't have a guitar, so I wrote all the songs on that.
Very cool. And Jess Bedard. Bedard Massey, she goes by, right?
Yeah, well, yeah.
And she has a background in singing, like in theater production, right?
Well, yeah, that's kind of how in a way how I met her. We had an acquaintance that knew of her ability to sing, and I knew that I was a musician, and then, well, you guys have to meet. So she was in a lot of different musical productions, and she's won awards for singing, like, ever since she was younger too. So she's classically trained as a vocalist. Like, she knows how to, placement and all these different things, and knows pitch really well, and harmonies, man. She can nail a harmony like one take. Like, there was times with Brown Recluse Spider, Coaching for Sarah song, the last one we released, I was really struggling with trying to find a harmony for parts of that song. And I said, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you just listen to this song and come up with a harmony? Sure. Listens to it. Doesn't even really know the song yet. She listened to it. Nailed it. I said, I don't even care if you know the words. I just want to get the melody out. Nailed it. I'm like, perfect. Now I've got something to sing to.
If you
so
ever
I sang to her harmony with the right lyrics, and that's how I got it, because she can just nail it. She's an incredible singer, and that's why I was like, I'm so happy to work with her, because one, she's a great singer. Two, she's an amazing person, and we have a great, like, we're best friends. We've become very, very close best friends, and we communicate off each other so well. So when we play live shows, it's like this kind of comedy routine at the same time, because we feed off each other so well, right? People enjoy it. People enjoy watching us play, not just for the music, but for our chemistry. And Lars, I have to say, Lars and I have the same though. Like, we're pretty funny on stage. Like, we just joke around. We have a good time, and people like to see entertainers enjoying what they do, right? They like that. They can connect with that. We have a lot of shows actually coming up. We just played the Casino in Hanover last month. We're playing there again May 28th, so in about a week's time. And then we've got 4 gigs in June. So we have June 10th, we're playing Jasmine's in Owen Sound. June 17th, we're playing at a place here in my hometown called Walker's Landing. And then the 17th, 24th, we're playing at McLean's Brewery in Hanover. And then the 25th, the next day, we're playing the Match again. And then July 1st, we're playing for a Canada Day event in Hanover.
Yeah, I can see you guys playing like breweries and playing even wineries.
Yeah, definitely we could.
It's too bad you guys are so far north from the Niagara region because of all the wineries down there.
That's just it. And the thing is too, like, I mean, we played Hamilton before in Niagara last summer, but that was just because it was conveniently set up for it, because we were doing an interview in Niagara at the same time, so we also booked the gig, so it worked out. Normally we don't travel that far because venues, they pay, right? And we're technically a cover band when we play shows, so they pay pretty well. But to travel too far with gas prices the way they are and stuff now, and both of us having to work early the next, sometimes it's just not convenient, right?
Yeah, so
to travel further.
So next summer, you guys should like book into all the wineries down in Niagara and stay down in that area. And I know some people that live in that area would probably put you guys up.
Oh, really? That'd be nice of them.
You know who'd probably help you out? Chrissy Hales.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. So that same weekend, so it was her show that we did this live interview where we played our three originals, Time Well Spent, Interlude, and Butterfly live. And then we went to Niagara Falls, and she was doing, so I finally got to meet her in person. And so Jess, because she was doing a karaoke thing right on it was the Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, she does karaoke, but they also have a place called the Upper Space. Did she take you there?
That's where we did our video, was the Upper Space.
How many cameras do they have there? It's insane, right?
They were small and they were all over the place. So I don't know how many they had, but they had like one behind us, one right front, couple to the side. Yeah.
So Bob, this friend of ours, a common friend, she's an indie music supporter, huge indie music supporter. She has a small radio station that she does shows on. I think she still does that work. But they have a place called the Upper Space, which is actually a production facility where they bring bands in and live stream, and they got like 20 cameras. Yeah,
it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I have a map of Canada that I refer to all the time. And I'll share it with you right now.
What do we got going on?
Here we go.
Here we go. There it is.
There's Canada.
Underwater,
showing that Canada's mostly under. Well, you know what? Canada has the largest area of freshwater lakes of any country in the world.
Well, you can see it from space, man.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Every time I think of Canada, I think of the metropolitan areas by the border, like you got Toronto and Ontario and stuff like that, and then you got this huge freaking lake. It's actually a sea, right?
Great Lakes, Lake Ontario. I drove to Edmonton when I moved to Edmonton, and it was Lars and I and my girlfriend at the time, and we drove. So left London. We went to the bottom. So we went into the States and under the Great Lakes and back up because it's a lot shorter than going over the Great Lakes.
That's right.
We drove for 18 hours before we decided to stay over somewhere, and we were still in Ontario.
Wow.
Yeah.
What?
The only actual Great Lake that is actually in the States is Lake Michigan.
Yeah. All the other ones are in Canada.
All the rest of them are good portion of them are in Canada. So if you ran all the way from the St. Lawrence Seaway, which is part of the Great Lakes system, which is right on the east coast of Canada, and you go all the way to the tip of Lake Superior, the furthest west part of Lake Superior, it's something like I don't know, 2,500 miles.
Jeez.
Well, I would vote 2,500 miles and I would vote.
Hudson Bay is roughly half the size of the United States.
Yeah. Hudson Bay is fucking huge, man. I've never been up to Hudson Bay, but it's like way north.
Is it?
It's way north. I mean, how you guys, Shane, you guys are like about 2 hours north of me.
Yep. And then Georgia Bay, which is like Owen Sound area, I believe. That's another like 45 minutes or whatever too. So it's going up further north too.
Yeah, and the southernmost tip of Hudson Bay is James Bay, which is like the southern tip of it.
Yeah.
James Bay is like freaking huge. It's like it's almost as big as one of the states.
We're not going to play James Bay.
Put that in perspective.
I've never realized that
it's too far away.
East to west, how much bigger it is than the States.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, Canada is a huge country, man. It's like massive.
We just lost Stu again.
Stu,
you keep going off and on, man.
There you
go. You're back. Stewie Meat, he's back.
I'm running on my hotspot on my phone because my Wi-Fi extender decided to drop for no apparent reason. So
Bob says work sucks and should be avoided.
That's why I'm a musician.
Here we go. Isn't Lake Superior in Wisconsin? Well, Lake Superior actually is partially in Wisconsin, but it's also partially in Canada. So the border goes like through the middle of Lake Superior. Here's
my underpants.
Here's an interesting, fun Canadian fact for you, Bob. I'll tell you this one. My dad, who's 95, he's always reading and watching TV and stuff like that. And he said to me one day, I went over to his place and he said, did you know that if they emptied all the water out of all the Great Lakes, that Lake Superior would still have over 500 feet of water in it?
Really?
That's crazy.
That's crazy, man. It's the deepest
lake. Of water.
It's the deepest Great Lake in the world. And it never gets higher than 59 degrees in the dead of summer.
The water temperature?
The water temperature.
Because it's such a large mass of water.
Yeah, and that surface, well, it's because it's so deep too, right?
Yeah.
There was a guy there not long ago that in Lake Superior, they caught a 12-foot lake sturgeon.
Jesus.
A what?
A 12-foot lake sturgeon.
12 feet?
12 feet long. Yeah, 12 feet.
That's crazy. That's like Jaws material, man.
Now, as you know, sturgeon are like
need a bigger boat,
fish, right? They're prehistoric, man.
They are.
And that's where they get isn't it caviar that comes from sturgeon?
Sturgeon eggs.
Caviar is sturgeon eggs, right?
Sturgeon eggs. I never knew that.
There you go. We digressed.
Fish eggs.
We digressed. Let's talk about butterflies. I want to talk more about butterflies. So,
okay.
Butterfly Lullaby gets released this Friday on all the download and streaming platforms, but it's available on our website right now as we speak. You can actually go there and you can get the song tonight if you want, right? I mean,
exactly. Why not?
And get it. And you can listen to it before you buy it. We're going to encourage you to download it. There it is right there on our website right there. And
awesome.
if you actually just scroll backwards here, it just, there's all of our artists there. And all these are indie artists that are on the label. And we're publishing new music weekly. I mean, we're going to be publishing music now till the dogs come home. Woo, woo, woo.
Who let the dogs out? Ken.
That's right. It's going to be crazy, man. What do we got here? Brad Marchand says the coldest, and Brad is in Australia.
Hey, hello from down under.
There you go. He says, and the coldest, yep, try swimming in Lake Superior even in summer. Forget it. Well, unless you're Canadian. Do you remember the Polar Bear Club? Did you ever go to any of the Polar Bear Club activities?
I never went to any, but I know of them. They're crazy.
Yeah, they swim in the Great Lakes while they're frozen.
I know.
Jump in. And then you have to go to the hospital to have your balls removed from your stomach.
Right. Yeah.
Fact.
Shrinkage, man. Shrinkage. Like a frightened turtle.
We got a whole lot of new music coming out. I'd be remiss not to say it all here. So we got music coming out by Doug Vardy, My Wicked Twin, Darkstone.
Love Doug Vardy.
And he said, she said, I put you guys last, but not least, because we're talking about Butterfly Lullaby tonight.
Right.
You guys got 2 previous singles out there that we should remind people about.
Yeah, for sure.
Time Well Spent and Interlude, 2 really well-produced works as well.
Thanks, man.
All DIY.
Yeah.
Do it yourself, complete from beginning to end, including the artwork. Like you guys did the artwork for all these too, right?
That is true.
And then of course you did a nice little promo video for Butterfly Lullaby that had animation, and I used it tonight to make a video for the song. We're going to play that as the outro tonight.
Sure.
So that people can see it again, along with the really cool animation that you threw in on there. But I just took the promo video, stripped the audio off it, and then just kept repeating it.
Right.
So it's pretty cool.
Works for me.
Yeah. Anything else you want people to know about what's going on in the world of He Said, She Said?
Well, like I said, lots of stuff going on. We got a bunch of gigs, mostly local, in the end of this month and in June, and then probably booking some stuff for July and August. We're going to be shooting a lot of videos this summer because, like I said, we have 2 more songs to finish up, and then we're going to be releasing that EP hopefully, realistically speaking, probably late fall, maybe in time for Christmas. But in the meantime, I am going back and we're looking at shooting some fun videos and nice videos for each one of our songs. And then, yeah, we're going to keep releasing singles until those 5 songs are done, and then do a big release. We'll come up with a date for that. Hopefully do a lot of promotion around that too, and get the word out. And there might be some surprises on the CD if you decide to download it, the whole CD, get some extra content.
We're going to package that EP for you, and hopefully we'll have some bonus content to go along with it.
Yeah.
Typically what we've been doing on the website is you can buy the tracks for $1 a piece, cheaper than a cup of coffee, and last you a hell of a lot longer. Gives you personal,
and you get the same hype.
That's right. That's right. And a personal license to own that piece of music forever. And the other cool thing that we've been doing with EPs and albums is we've been giving one of the tracks away if you download the whole thing.
You know what you need is you need a line of T-shirts that have a chip embedded in the collar or the sleeve, and the chip has your music on it, so you can just plug your headphones into that and has your advertising on the front. $1 million idea.
Bob, I love it, buddy. I love it.
When you went black there for a while, were you smoking? I think you were. Just kidding.
Oh my God, that's a great idea. But I love the idea of us putting a merch store up here on the website. I actually have a couple of proposals I'm looking at right now of third-party vendors that want to partner with us.
Oh, nice.
If that's the case, we'll be able to put any of your merch up here for sale as well.
Awesome. I think honestly that might be our next step for He Said, She Said too as well. Is we do have a half decent following, nothing crazy, but like we do have some dedicated fans that follow us on Music Mondays and stuff like that, come out to our shows. So I think our next step is going to be making, some merch and shirts and hats or whatever, and see where that goes.
Well, you got like you guys have come a long way from when you guys started there. Officially, when did you and Jess officially?
It would have been around October 2020 is when we first started hanging out and talking music.
Right. And you guys have gone from 0 followers to like 409 people following.
Yeah. It really helps because honestly, another thing too, it helps as well is that like I grew up in Walkerton, but I moved away for like 27 years. So most of the people that I knew and grew up with when I moved back have all gone their separate ways or whatever. However, Jess has moved here probably about 22 years ago. And she's worked a lot of service industry, like she's worked, as a server at a lot of different restaurants and things. So she just knows a lot of people, and people know of her as a singer too. So that's helped us escalate things a little bit as well, because it's getting those people to really tune in and be engaged with what we do, and they like watching us, so they follow us and comment and share, and it's great. It's a really lot of support from the people around here for us, for sure.
And people can find you on Facebook. They can find you on Twitter, right?
We don't use Twitter that much. Instagram, yes. Everyone's, because I've got our Facebook account connected to Instagram, so most stuff I post on Facebook will be on Instagram as well. I'm just starting to kind of dive into the Instagram world because I'm not that familiar with it. I'm old school still, right? I'm still a Facebook guy. And then we put all our videos, all our Monday music videos, we put on YouTube as well, religiously. I think there's like 30 some odd videos on there now. We get people to follow us on there, subscribe. And it really comes down to sharing with any band. Doing research myself, it's all about the shares.
Now, just
likes
remember,
and comments are great, but if you share, that is huge, because that helps you, or helps the music or the musician or the artist get more people to notice you. Simple as that. One of those things in terms of that branding that we talked about, that Bob and I've been talking about week to week on here, is the power of Twitter is that a lot of radio puts out your music in tweets, right, when they're playing your music on their station, which I love. I think that's awesome, and I've noticed that too. But it's not like we're on Twitter, but we're not using it a lot. Do you know what I mean? And I probably should more.
It's tough to do it. You got so many oars in the water, dude.
That's just it, man. Like I'm writing and playing shows. So I'm learning cover songs. I'm trying to remember the ones we already know. Working on videos. Like I'm a busy man.
Yeah, you guys got a lot going on. All right. Yeah. Well, listen, we're gonna do an outro here with Butterfly Lullaby, and I want to thank my co-host tonight, Shane Sawyer, for joining us on here. And we got Bob Minter from Code Zero Radio, and we're doing we got a Shane sandwich in the middle here right now.
Oh yeah, Shane sandwich. Woo!
And Bob is on there in his nemesis Stew Meat tonight, and we're hear some new music from Stew Dog and the Stew Meat and the Chili Dogs down the road.
I love that name. Awesome.
I can't wait. Is it going to have some? Is it going to be? Are we going to have to censor that one, Bob? We're going to have to censor that?
No, I don't think so, because it's a fairly normal. Not really.
All right. I can't wait to see it. Are you going to do a video?
Too.
I hope he does a video for it. He always does cool videos with that shit too.
Cool.
All right. Well, what we're going to do now is we're going to do the outro to Butterfly Lullaby. And I want to thank you guys for joining me tonight here on our show. I'm going to play it as we go outro and say goodbye to you guys. Oh, there are the eyes.
Hey, thanks for having me, Ken. Bob.
You're more than welcome. Thanks a lot for joining us tonight, Shane.
Peace.
Cheers,
bye,
boys.
guys.